I was bored. I have money. I decided to dress as a priest. I contacted my person at Burberry, a Nigerian tailor named Harry. I told him I wanted the clerical collar, clergy shirts, a black rabat, suit, trench coat, cassock, a cape, and a black fedora. Harry opined that, strictly speaking, Burberry didn't have a clerical line, but he would reach out to Riccardo Tisci, the head man in London. Harry felt Riccardo was searching for something new and might be excited by this idea. He was right. Riccardo Tisci flew to New York and met me in a private office of the flagship store on 57th Street. Harry served tea and took notes. Mr. Tisci was an elegant man. Beautifully turned out, of course, but as he spoke, other attributes came vividly to the fore. I could see his resolve, his spirit of adventure, his quiet madness. Men like him only have one foot in this world. The other foot kicks over conventions in some enchanted inner boutique. I knew this man, and I knew why he wanted to meet me. He was like a genie in need of a wish. But first, he needed to assure himself that I had the necessary flair to own this idea personally. It is not enough to foresee a fashion. One must have courage. Riccardo essayed my level of panache, mentioned the chance I took wearing a fez. He went on to compliment my steel glasses and eel-skin boots, and then became serious. He asked why I'd become interested in this look, and why, more importantly, I thought of Burberry. I was candid. I told him I missed the idea of milkmen dressed in white, liveried drivers, doormen in gold epaulets, proper train conductors, hunters in pith helmets and blouse trousers. My dissatisfaction was much more than mere nostalgia. Uniforms clarify society and at the same time render it exotic. And yet in our age, uniforms are denied to the vast bulk of humanity. What uniform, for instance, would be appropriate for me to wear? I'm neither a tradesman nor a soldier. On the other end of the spectrum, since the end of aristocracy, simply being rich justifies no formal, agreed-upon display. This is why I'd come to Burberry in the first place. In its infancy, the company had invented gabardine, made clothes for polar explorers, adventurers, then military aviators, officers. That history of adventure informs every trench coat and overcoat they design. I had heretofore enjoyed, courtesy of Burberry, the tang of militarism without the accompanying sting of battle. But now these boyish pleasures felt increasingly unearned. I needed a uniform that identified me more truthfully, less grandiosely, yet set me apart. If I dressed as a priest, I was declaring myself available for consolation, advice, even the sharing of doubt and despair. I was on a spiritual journey. Why not dress as a spiritual man? After all, I had a soul. Why not exploit it? Riccardo was sold. He flew home and disappeared into his Mayfair studio for a month. When he emerged, he had designed a clerical line of clothes for the man who was not ordained, but nevertheless struggled with God, a kind of existential soldier, touched with grace and a quiet prosperity. The buttons were slightly magnified, droll even. The whimsically small fedora fashioned of black felt seemed a gentle jest, which was quickly leavened by the clerical collar's sudden note of sobriety. When I slid into the double-vented coat, I was delighted to discover the pockets lined with green silk and fastened with black elk bone. I felt not only well-clothed, but understood. No, explained. When I first walked into the 21 Club, so attired, a reverential hush greeted me. The maitre d', solicitous beyond the ordinary, showed me to a featured table, and as he did so, I could hear the glittering clientele pause in their circular chatter. I had invoked a kind of pious pause. What more could I desire? And yes, the women loved it.